Did you know that while most military vehicles are churned out by robots, Army Humvees rely almost entirely on the craftsmanship of factory workers? Pioneering facilities like AM General's plants alone produce millions of Humvees each year. But here's the twist. They do it all without automation. That's right. Humans manage every step, from prepping raw materials to fully assembling each vehicle. But the true reason why they're so effective is so simple, yet groundbreaking. This is a video you don't want to miss. If you've ever laid eyes on an Army Humvee, chances are the first thought that crossed your mind was how indestructible it appears, like a war machine built to withstand anything. And we don't blame you. Humvees are lightweight, highly mobile, and intimidating four-wheel drive tactical vehicles that use a common chassis to carry a wide variety of military hardware, ranging from machine guns to tube-launched, optically tracked, wire command-guided anti-tank missile launchers. They are built to perform in a wide variety of terrain, from deserts to jungles, for long periods of time, with minimal maintenance. Everything from the thick body panels to the rugged frame and structural components screams durability and resilience. But what's fascinating is the detailed process that brings this beast on wheels to life. To meet the enduring demands expected of a Humvee, materials such as high-strength steel and aluminum alloys make up almost 100% of the vehicle. The former allows the Humvee to withstand heavy impacts, provide superior protection for the crew, and endure difficult conditions like rough terrains. Aluminum alloys, on the other hand, are lightweight and help reduce the overall weight of the Humvee. This improves fuel efficiency without compromising its durability and helps prevent excessive wear and tear from the harsh environmental conditions the vehicle may encounter, such as high heat, moisture, and sand. Unlike automated systems, these workers meticulously inspect and adjust each metal sheet by hand, ensuring that even the smallest defect is caught before the stamping begins. Once the best materials are selected, factory workers carefully inspect the sheets using ultrasonic testers for any trace of imperfections. After all, Humvees are built to be robust and enduring. A single flaw in the material could limit the vehicle's ability to withstand battlefield conditions, and that's just unacceptable. The sheets that pass the quality test are then prepared for stamping, a condition where thousands of tons of pressure press and shape these sheets into components like door panels or chassis sections. Make no mistake though, this chore isn't as simple as pushing a button. The workers on site have to align each sheet into customized molds with zero margin for error. Anything short of that could result in a defective part or wasted material. But guess what? Stamping alone doesn't cut it. Literally. Workers also use tools like lasers and plasma cutters to trim edges or carve out holes that would be used during assembly. That said, the road isn't without its hurdles. While the hardness of high-strength steel can put significant strain on stamping machines and cutting tools, aluminum alloys are susceptible to deformity during stamping. Variations in thickness or defects in the material can cause inconsistencies in the final product, which is why quality checks are conducted at every stage of production, and micrometer-precise tools, line lasers, and plasma cutters are used after stamping. After all, when lives are on the line, there's no room for error. After the stamping and cutting process has transformed the raw metal sheets into precision parts, the next step is one where the Humvee starts to take shape, literally. But how do you take individual components and turn them into the frame of a military-grade vehicle? Make no mistake, structural integrity in military cars like the Humvee is absolutely crucial, and for good reason. Humvees are subjected to high-impact forces from collisions, sudden blasts, and explosive shock waves. They also carry heavy payloads, including troops, supplies, and weapons, all of which add significant weight to the vehicle. Like that wasn't already challenging enough, Humvees operate in some of the harshest environments imaginable: extreme heat in desert terrains, freezing temperatures in mountainous regions, and everything in between. Cars have this ability to withstand rough terrains, battle threats, damage, and the elements. 90% efficiency is not good enough. It's all or nothing, and here's a practical example. Just imagine a Humvee moving briskly on a battlefield, where it's exposed to all kinds of dangers, like roadside explosions or enemy fire. An unstable structure spells doom. not just for the car itself, but for the lives of those relying on it. Ensuring a military ride like a Humvee maintains its structural integrity starts from using high-quality steel and reinforced aluminum alloys to maintain durability. And yes, the design and engineering of the vehicle play an equally important role. The joints are built to handle static loads, and reinforcements are added to critical areas as an extra layer of protection. Physical prototypes and computer simulations are also made to test how the car's frame will distribute forces when impacted. A practical example of this is when a Humvee encounters a roadside bomb. To keep the blast's energy away from critical areas like the cabin, reinforcements like an armored undercarriage are designed to absorb and redirect the energy, preventing catastrophic failure while keeping the crew safe. Now that we've talked about the importance of structural integrity in the Humvee, it's only fitting to zero in on the magic behind its frame, the very skeleton that holds this beast together. Blink, and you might miss the delicate choreography of engineering brilliance that makes it tick. Remember the well-stamped and precisely cut steel beams that made it through the first step? Technicians use different welding methods depending on the part of the frame, from MIG welding for thicker sections to precision TIG welding for joints requiring precise alignment, such as smaller frame sections or connections involving dissimilar metals. Never heard of it? Metal inert gas welding, or MIG for short, is a welding technique that uses a continuous wire electrode fed through a welding gun that melts and joins the metals. Tungsten inert gas, or TIG, on the other hand, uses a tungsten electrode to slowly create a precise arc for fusing metals. It's better used for cab components and lightweight aluminum sections as opposed to MIG suspension areas and chassis framework. But welding alone isn't enough. Bolting is just as important as it ensures the frame holds together under the weight of heavy loads and intense stress. Fascinated by the intricacies? You've seen nothing yet. What makes framing even more impressive is the high degree of coordination. Multiple teams work simultaneously on different sections of the frame, each relying on the others to maintain exact specifications. Why? Because one misstep, a misplaced weld or an incorrectly tightened bolt, can compromise the entire frame. Everyone from welders to quality inspectors put hands on deck to ensure the frame meets exacting standards. In situations where a weld shows even the smallest imperfection, skilled technicians step in immediately to fix the issue, using years of experience to ensure the frame is flawless before moving forward. Furthermore, clear communication is key to successful coordination. The person performing the final inspection of the frame needs to be in constant communication with the welders and assemblers to get the green light before moving on to the next step. By the end of this stage, the Humvee skeleton is complete, but still far from ready for deployment. Stay tuned. Things are about to get even more intense. Have you ever wondered how a military-grade vehicle can survive both searing desert heat and torrential downpours without losing its edge? Contrary to what many believe, engineering, welding, stamping, and other intricacies can only take you thus far. A good paint job is just as important as the aforementioned metrics, and if you don't believe it, keep your eyes and ears peeled for the revelation of a lifetime. You see, once the Humvee's frame is fully assembled and inspected for structural integrity, it enters the critical painting process. And no, it's not just about aesthetics. The paint of a military Humvee is its greatest protector against the elements. It all begins with surface preparation, where every inch of metal is inspected, thoroughly cleaned, and then blasted with abrasives to create a texture perfect for adhesion. Why? Because even the toughest paint is useless if it doesn't stick properly. Workers must use a combination of high-pressure air, water, and chemical degreasers to remove dirt, grease, and other contaminants before blasting with abrasive materials to create a rough surface texture, which not only helps the primer and paint adhere better, but also reduces peeling or corrosion over time. Once the surface has been prepped and well vetted, of course, workers immediately apply a military-grade primer using spray guns or electrostatic sprayers. Think of it as a handy layer that prevents rust and lays the groundwork for the next step. Applying chemical agent-resistant coating paint, or CARC, a paint designed to withstand extreme weather, resist chemical agents, and provide camouflage. Make no mistake, guys, caulk is a game changer for military vehicles. Its non-reflective surface keeps Humvees hidden from enemy surveillance, while its resistance to chemical and biological agents ensures efficiency even in the harshest environments. What's more, the durability of this paint ensures the vehicle remains operational even after years of exposure to harsh elements. Speaking of exposure, once the base paint has been applied to the Humvee, workers move the vehicle into a curing chamber where high temperatures help the paint bond fully with the primer and frame. Camouflage patterns? No problem. Cases like these require the use of stencils and sprays to map stripe and patch designs on the Humvee before applying the final clear coat. It's very straightforward and protects the paint from UV rays, scratches, and chemical exposure. Looking back, though, the importance of human workers cannot be overstated. Every facet of the painting process, from prepping to layering, relies heavily on skilled workers. They're the ones who really build on the Humvee's functionality. Say what you will about Humvee engines, but they're more than just mere components. Just like any car you see on the street, road, or highway, Humvees need a beating heart to stay alive, and that's where powerful engines come in. Wondering how it gets installed? Similar to painting, engine installation requires thoughtful prepping. The engine and frames are well inspected by technicians who carefully look for signs of defects or imperfections that could affect performance using advanced diagnostic tools. Defects are either replaced or fixed, while good engines are hoisted into the chassis using hydraulic lifts with utmost precision, as the slightest misalignment could lead to later inefficiencies or breakdowns. In any case, one of the most critical aspects of this process is integrating the engine with the drivetrain. It's the part responsible for transmitting power from the engine to the wheels, and it requires alignment systems to position the engine precisely. It's also worth mentioning that bolts and mounts are tightly fixed with calibrated torque wrenches to absorb vibrations and stress while the car is moving. But guess what? The need for precision doesn't end there. To ensure proper insulation and protection, factory workers have to carefully route the electrical wiring, connecting sensors and control systems to the engine. Finally, the exhaust system is aligned to ensure efficient expulsion of gases, reducing back pressure, and maintaining optimal engine performance. Fuel lines are also carefully attached and tested for leaks to guarantee a consistent supply of diesel, even during extreme maneuvers. Alas, nothing comes easy. Most military operations run on strict deadlines and timely production. Workers sometimes bend their backs over to meet tight deadlines without compromising quality. They achieve this by coordinating among teams, with overlapping tasks like wiring and mounting performed simultaneously to save time. Think that's tough? Did you know that most engine installers have to navigate tight spaces while handling heavy components? Precision, as we've said a million times, is non-negotiable. Sure, advanced tools like torque wrenches and alignment gauges are available, but the process itself demands immense skill and focus. The stakes in warfare are always high, as even minor errors could compromise performance or safety. Just imagine a combat scenario where the electrical connection to the Humvee's ignition system is poorly secured, causing the vehicle to either fail or lose power mid-mission. Such a failure not only compromises the mission's success, but also endangers the lives of the drivers, especially when it could have been avoided. This is the major reason why only the best technicians work for highbrow manufacturers. Tools in their hands are like magic wands. Now that we've talked about how Humvees are framed, cut, painted, and even powered, can you guess what's next? Though the roar of a pristine engine can sound scary to enemy forces, a Humvee would be useless without a quality interior. It provides the tools and comfort soldiers rely on in life and death scenarios. Without them, they're as good as riding horseback. Take, for instance, the materials used in the interior. It comprises fire-resistant, moisture-proof, and wear-resistant components that ensure the cabin can withstand harsh environments. It even has emergency features, like escape windows, integrated to enhance crew safety in critical situations. The seating is rugged, absorbs shock, and is designed to reduce fatigue during long rides on topsy-turvy terrains. Everything is ergonomic, down to the dashboard, that even houses GPS navigation, communication systems, and mission-specific controls in the dashboard to give soldiers better situational awareness and coordination. Fascinated? There's more. Storage areas within the Humvee help to secure ammunition, armament, and other personal items. Compartments are easily accessible and reconfigurable to suit different missions, from transporting troops to medical evacuations. But here lies the million-dollar question. Have you ever wondered how these interiors are brought to life? Blending ergonomics with the unique, rugged demands of military personnel is by no means an easy feat. So what's the big idea? The first step, as always, is through preparation and inspection. Before any part is installed, technicians must first ensure it meets the required standards for military-grade vehicles. Any defect in the seat frames, control panels, or wiring harness, no matter how minor, is rectified or replaced. Once done, workers use heavy-duty bolts to secure high-resilience seating that can absorb the shocks of rough terrains and protect soldiers from vibrations. The seats are then made adjustable and extra padded to find the sweet spot between comfort and functionality. While the seats are being locked in place, workers also work on the Humvee's dashboard, connecting all wires, buttons, screens, and gadgets like GPS. Would you believe every connection is tested individually? Systems like surveillance tools and communication modules are test run to prevent glitches. Last but certainly not least, mission-specific features like storage compartments and protective padding to weapon mounts are installed to improve the vehicle's functionality and adaptability. But the journey doesn't stop there. Once everything is in place, the interior undergoes a painstaking final lap of testing and adjustments. Workers check for ergonomic alignment, durability of fixtures, and the operational readiness of all systems as a unit. Any issues are addressed immediately, leaving no room for error. Okay, so after the interior has been carefully built to meet the rigorous demands of soldiers in extreme conditions, the only thing stopping the Humvee from deployment is the final lap, a stage where all components unite to create a fully operational, mission-ready vehicle. Like the climax to your favorite movie, this is the point where every intricate piece, right from the engine to the seats, and even the smallest bolt, is assembled into one unit. But how exactly is this achieved? Contrary to the other processes we've talked about thus far, the first step here is not preparation. Rather, it commences with technicians integrating major systems such as the engine, transmission, suspension, and electrical components together. For all of its perks, the most fascinating part is that, on a flow assembly line, each Humvee advances through dedicated stations, where specific tasks are performed to the letter. It's also worth mentioning that each task is handled simultaneously rather than in a sequence. For instance, while one group is installing the drivetrain, the other is tweaking the vehicle's electrical network. Have you ever heard of the term dynamic testing? It's a process used in product engineering to evaluate performance and functionality in real-world conditions. For Humvees, this means subjecting the vehicle to various terrains, speeds, and operational scenarios. It verifies all systems like suspension, engine, brakes, and electronics work well under stress by simulating the challenges it might face in actual use. For the benefit of those who might be unaware, static testing, though handy in many engineering situations, is tailored to test products and machines without actually stimulating real-life scenarios. Technicians here might measure the engine's compression levels or check armor durability using specialized sensors. Though this process ensures individual facets meet agreed-upon benchmarks, you'd be hard-pressed to admit it paints a complete picture of the vehicle's real-world performance. Let's say, for instance, the suspension of a Humvee Desert model failed during dynamic testing, causing the vehicle to nearly roll over. Static testing would neither have discovered this defect nor the degree of the crisis. The issue would have gone unnoticed before deployment and possibly endangered soldiers in combat situations. Think of dynamic testing as a crash course, if you will. Humvees are typically driven over simulated rocky terrain, and any suspension flaw detected here is immediately flagged, sending the vehicle back for reinforcements. Because in the field, there's no room for second chances. Models that pass these phases are subjected to a quality assurance review, where every aspect, from the structural integrity to the electrical systems, is carefully checked to finally meet the military's stringent safety standards. Only then can they be prepped for delivery and deployment into active service. With all that has been said and done, can you even imagine a modern army operating without a Humvee? Military forces have produced countless fascinating vehicles over the years, but a handful have stood the test of time. The Mech-4 tank was the poster boy of World War I. The Vietnam War is inseparable from the UH-1 helicopter, and like PB&J, the U.S. military cannot be separated from the Humvee. Back in the early 1980s, the U.S. military faced a serious aging equipment issue. Troops relied on outdated gear like the 1911 pistol from World War I and the M151 Jeep, which closely resembled the World War II-era Willys. Modern solutions were drastically needed: a durable vehicle capable of handling rough terrain and carrying advanced military equipment. The answer came in 1984 with the High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, or Humvee for short. Running on diesel, it bridged the gap between the lightweight M151 and the heavier M809 truck. Plus, its broad roof and robust design allowed for adaptations like machine gun turrets, air defense systems, and ambulance cabs, meeting the demands of modern warfare. Make no mistake, the Humvee's design made it a standout off-roader, capable of tackling terrain that would halt other 4x4 vehicles. Features like independent suspension, advanced shock absorbers, and torque biasing differentials ensured superior traction. Better yet, its aluminum body reduced weight, improved flexibility off-road, and resisted corrosion, making it durable and easier to maintain. From its debut, the Humvee proved a rugged, unstoppable force, quickly becoming a civilian favorite for its bold design. It thrived in open desert operations, particularly in 1991 and 2003, when the U.S. military steamrolled Iraq's defenses. Fast forward to today, and the Humvee has undergone significant evolution. Modern versions, like we've talked about in this video, incorporate advanced materials, precision engineering, and cutting-edge technologies to meet the demands of 21st century warfare and safety. Each stage of production reflects the intricacies involved in making this road beast and why it's still the go-to vehicle for global armed forces. Compared to other military-grade vehicles, the human element in Humvee manufacturing makes it significantly better. Unlike assembly lines that overly rely on automation, Humvee production prioritizes skilled workers who not only apply their expertise and intuition at every stage, but are also team players. Machines, though precise, can't predict issues that years of experience in dynamic testing will convey. This human intuition, coupled with methodological and iterative testing, creates a vehicle that is more adaptable and dependable than those produced in hyper-automated facilities. Ultimately, the Humvee's manufacturing philosophy, combining human expertise with adaptable processes, ensures it remains a benchmark in military vehicle production. Other vehicles may boast advanced tech, but the Humvee's human element and proven track record make it a standout choice for enduring performance in unpredictable combat environments. Speaking of tech, this may sound like a hype ad, but one of the most fascinating things about the Humvee is that it would evolve just as fast as the military, if not faster. Ever heard about the development of hybrid electric Humvee variants? Collaborations between companies like AM General and Q have led to the creation of plug-in hybrid electric vehicles based on the iconic Humvee platform. Apart from the fact that military-grade vehicles are embracing the industry trend of going electric, HEVs are characterized by semi-active suspension systems that increase wheel travel by 50%. A feature like that, as you can probably already tell, would enable the vehicle to handle drastically uneven terrains more effectively, thus reducing the risk of getting stuck or damaged. Another potential future use for the Humvee is as an autonomous unmanned ground vehicle, UGV. By removing armor to improve mobility and terrain access, since there would be no passengers to protect, the Humvee could function as a mobile scout vehicle. With thousands of Humvees remaining in the U.S. inventory after the JLTV's introduction, converting them to UGVs could provide a cost-effective way to create an unmanned combat vehicle fleet. Autonomy features would enable the Humvees to operate independently, while a single soldier could control a swarm of multiple vehicles. What could possibly be better than that? Though technological advancements are propelling Humvee production into the future, please take nothing away from the factory workers. Automated robots may be smart, But the importance of human expertise and adaptability cannot be overstated in engineering. Skilled workers worth their onions are still humanity's best bet in ensuring each vehicle meets the rigorous standards required for military operations. All things being equal, the Humvee is expected to remain in U.S. military service until at least 2050, a time when cutting-edge technology would make the Humvees of today look like child's play. Looking ahead, one can't help but wonder, will factory workers still play major roles in shaping the future of military vehicles, or will automation win? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to be the first to know whenever we release an informative video like this. See you in the next one.